Welcome to Slash Bash, where today I am bringing you another Choosing Beggar Reddit video. In our first story, a Choosing Beggar boss from one of my internships. Let's jump right in. I watched a lot of posts about Workmates, so I figure my story probably fits in Choosing Beggars. Here's some background. A few years ago, my college needed us to do an intern job for college credit. We couldn't skip it or do it the next year. It could only be a 1-month-long internship because we had a tight schedule of classes starting about a month later. It's so hard to find an intern job for only a month, so one of our teachers hooked us up, me along with 2 classmates, Albert and Betty. It was with a company run by a boss who was a former student of our teacher. Here's the story. At first, we didn't ask anything about the internship because at that point, we were so desperate to find an intern position that only lasted for a month. The first day of our internship, our teacher drove us there from our campus. We felt so grateful towards him, and we were feeling really optimistic about it. When we got there, the boss went through the things we needed to do, and she said, "I will pay you guys on the last day you are here." Then she just told us to get started. We were so naive that none of us even asked about the wage. At that time, we all just wanted to get started because all the employees there seemed to be working so hard and intensely. The work we did was normal all the way, so I won't talk about it, but once we got started working, none of the regular employees were working hard anymore. This was something that we didn't notice at first, but became very apparent throughout the month. At the beginning of each day, everybody just came up to us and listed a huge amount of tasks for us to complete before the end of the day. Then they just sat there doing non-work related stuff all day long. We were so exhausted by the end of each day. The work was so overwhelming that the only break we could take was our lunch break, because if we stayed even 20 minutes longer after closing time, we were going to miss our last bus back to campus. Every day we returned back from work exhausted. We would just take a shower and go straight to bed. We never complained about it because our teacher personally got us in, and we didn't want to ruin his reputation. Here's the Choosing Beggar part. Finally, 40 days later, 28 workdays, the final day had come. The boss signed our internship paperwork and told us we all did a great job and that we helped them a lot. Then she asked for our bank account information and told us that our wages would be transferred to us directly. We didn't ask any more about it because we had our final bus leaving in 10 minutes, so we just said thanks and goodbye to everyone, then ran to the bus station. On the way home, I received a transfer of $300. More or less, I don't remember the exact amount. The transfer had a message attached. Unfortunately, it's a competition among 3 of you. We are only paying one of you, the one with the best performance at work. Congrats. I asked Albert and Betty if they got any money. They told me no, they hadn't gotten anything yet. I was so confused. I felt so bad that day for Albert and Betty. We did the same work, we all helped each other, and none of us had made any mistakes. It was so unfair. 3 days later, I followed up and asked them again if they'd received anything. No money had come in. Eventually, I couldn't stand the unfairness of it all, and so I split the money I received with them. It was only like $100 for each of us, but I felt it was the right thing to do. Story number 2. My tattoo was great, but you didn't have an accent. Rating 2 stars out of 5. First off, everything and everyone was nice and clean. This isn't a review on the shop's safety or anything. This is a review about the climate and atmosphere of this shop, New Age gentrification. This is New York City. This is a tattoo shop in the heart of New York City, but you walk inside and see all the friendly, smiling faces and are warmly welcomed by a receptionist, and you'd think you were in San Francisco. Nobody speaks with any form of a New York City accent, no Brooklyn accents of any dialect, no Staten Island accents, no North Queens accents, not even a Long Island accent. No people of color either. Nobody in the entire 5 hours I was there said a single foul word. It was honestly like I stepped into a wormhole straight out of New York City into my deepest, darkest nightmare. A couple times during my tattoo, a couple other artists came by to look at my new piece. They'd say things like, "Wow, very nice," or "Awesome." Not a single badass. At the end of all this, it's time to pay. I go up to the front desk and she asks me to remind her of my name. Whatever. So she tells me the subtotal and then the total with tax. Now, this is not my first tattoo. I've gotten tattoos in New York City, in other states, and even in other countries. I always pay cash. I've never, ever, not even once been told there was tax. I don't know the laws on if tattoos are a taxable commodity, and frankly, I don't care. It is not tattoo culture to charge or pay tax in addition to the quoted price under any circumstance. So, unless some of the second coming of Jesus is in tattoo artist form and he takes a guest spot here, I'll never go back to this shop and suggest anyone else does unless they really hate everything about New York City and tattooing. Story number 3, Bears fan in Packers territory. I worked my way through college by working second shift in a factory. The job was hot, sweaty, and loud, but aside from that, the work wasn't too hard. Also, the company had a tuition reimbursement program, so I made it work. I got along with pretty much everyone most of the time, but like any stressful work environment, people get on each other's nerves. One year, one of my coworkers decided to put together a football pool. I'm from Illinois and grew up a Bears fan, but it being Wisconsin, most people were Packers fans, and this was during the height of the Brett Favre era. To be honest, my father had a gambling problem, so I always shied away from gambling. However, my coworkers needed one more person to make the pool work, and after quite a bit of cajoling, I reluctantly agreed. The way the pool worked, each person would randomly pick squares on a grid. The horizontal and vertical axes were comprised of the numbers 0 through 9, and the winner would be chosen based upon the last numbers of each team's final score from the Packers games. No one was stuck with the same numbers each week. Before the game, someone would come around the plant, collect everyone's money, and let everyone pick their squares. Like I said, I was just playing to have some fun with my coworkers. I didn't need the money and I could care less about the Packers, so I would let everyone else pick, then I would take whatever numbers were left. Surprise, surprise, the first week I won. Yay! My coworkers grumbled about a Bears fan winning the pool, so rather than pocketing the money, I bought pizza for everyone in the pool with my winnings from a nearby pizza joint the next game day. We could work as much overtime as we wanted, and weekends were my sweet spot for earning money since I was in school. The second game, I won again. My coworkers were angrier the second time. All week, I listened to them grumbling about it in the break room and when I moved around the plant. Again, I just dumped all my winnings into buying everyone pizza, but fortune was determined to have a little fun at their expense because I ended up winning the pool 10 times that season. Now, every time I won, I would take my winnings and buy everyone pizza, but by the end of the season, I was getting a lot of stink eye from everyone else in the pool. People even accused me of being bad luck. I think some thought I bought the pizza to rub it in everyone's faces, but as I mentioned earlier, I usually don't gamble, and I was only in it to help them make their numbers work. Obviously, I wasn't asked to join the pool the next year, which was fine with me. Though during football season, I did end up eating on my breaks next to a guy from Detroit who was a Lions fan. Story number 4, trying to give away a futon, just not at 11 p.m. Free futon. Okay, she wants to come tonight. What is your address? It's too late tonight. She can only do it tonight. She has 4 kids. Unfortunately, I've gone to bed. I cannot do it tonight. Okay, if it's in the driveway, she can just grab it. It's not in the driveway anymore because it was going to rain. It's not happening tonight. It's not happening ever, and you are getting a poor review for being rude. This is John from /bash. Thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed the video and want to be the first to know when the next one drops, subscribe and click on that notifications bell so that YouTube will actually show you my videos. We'd love for you to drop a like, share it with your friends, and we will see you in the next one.